What is up? I'm Crystal Lindsey with Triple Three Social Media. And if you are out there and you're struggling to be able to break through your paralysis and get seen on social media, to create content that converts, to know what your clients care about, to get the results you're looking for, you're in the right place. Thank you so much for being here. I have a very special guest, Miss Leah Prehn. Thank you for being here today. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Now, Leah is actually the Chief Messaging Officer at Office of Awesome and co-founder. Now, she definitely knocked me over with wow when I met her. Very few times do I meet somebody who actually understands how to go from what somebody needs to see what somebody needs to see through their ideal client eyes, how they're going to embody their client's voice, and starting there and creating the strategy that then flows to what you need to say to become recognizable, relevant, and real. And then from there, oh my goodness, how do you get it into implementation and get people to get leads and grow your business? So when we chatted, I was just blown away, and I wanted to really feature you, Leah, on this interview and really talk about this because you are on fire. You are really helping brands be able to get seen on social media by being recognizable and true and authentic to who they are. Yeah. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about what you do, but first I'm curious, as the Go Live marketer here, what do you think about live video?
I think live video is great. What a great way for brands to be able to show who they are in the moment. And there's something really special about live where people can really see like, no, you are who you are. And you're like this live as much as you are edited. So I think it's a great opportunity for brands to really get out there. So I love it.
Absolutely. Now, this is key point here. So if you're out there and you're trying to get seen on social, 4 out of 5 clicks in 2019 are coming from video. So if you're not using video, you're working too hard, you're getting fewer results, and you're not getting people to engage with your message. So live video is the fastest way to be able to engage your brand and build a raving tribe of fans. That's why I'm committed to helping 100,000 people be able to use live video to get seen on social. So if you're on fire to be able to get seen on social media, you're in the right place. So stay tuned, and I will feature top marketers and their insights on what they recommend to be able to get seen as well. And that's what this interview is for. So tell me now, bringing live video in, obviously Office of Awesome is an exquisite branding firm here in San Diego, right? You help people set the strategy, embody their voice, figure out what makes them real, and be able to get that into implementation. But what is it exactly, and how is it that live video crosses over to what you do?
Totally. It all starts with brand, right? So who you are and who you show up as a brand will absolutely drive how you market.
Yes.
So for example, if your brand is very serious or the tone's very serious, then your video is going to be different. If you're like you and you're really dynamic and you're bright, like we need to be able to capture that. So it really does start with brand. Yes. And it's about you, but it's also about the clients you want to reach. What are the messages they want to hear? And how are they having conversations in their own little groups? And how can you break into that conversation in a way that is not offensive and is appropriate, where you're actually going to get heard through all of the noise of marketing that's out there? You really want to land these messages with grace, right? So you want to get in there and say, hey, no, I understand you. And I actually think I can help. And let me explain to you how. So really that's like the role of brand. It kind of sets that whole strategy. It sets the customers you want to reach, and it really drives you to the messaging and the way that you want to be speaking to your audience.
I love this. It's like, so what do you mean? The words that actually come out of my mouth are important. The background and how I connect is important. These are things that I try to coach on with clients every single day. I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs and real estate agents through one-on-one. And they just struggle with it because they either get so paralyzed and don't want to do anything because now they understand the implications of all these moving pieces, or they're at the other end of it and they're just like floundering and they're not able to accept feedback and realize that they need to actually talk about what their ideal clients care about and embody what makes them real and relevant and recognizable in the marketplace.
And that's like the beauty of what we do. And I love clients like that because a lot of it is with just some framework, right? So we work a lot. Obviously, we do strategy and making sure we're meeting business objectives, but we also work a lot with signature and branded language, right? So every brand has this opportunity to have their own lexicon. Yeah. So suddenly I can go out and talk about something in my own way, and I'm going to be heard and I'm going to be recognized for that. So it's really, really, really important to us that we give that structure so they don't feel paralyzed, and they also don't feel like there's word vomiting everywhere.
You know, speaking of that, because you absolutely hit the nail on the head, I think somebody out there is about to have an existential crisis. And I wanted to go live, but I don't know who I am. So I don't know if I can go live because I have to figure out who I am before I can go live. So let's really break it down to some specifics here. Yep. Who's kind of your typical clients? And then let's talk about a specific client you've worked with. Tell me about a typical client.
Yeah. So our typical clients are ones that either they're not sure how to market, for your point. It's like, I don't know what to say. Or a lot of our clients actually are maybe marketing through agencies or through different channels, and they're not really sure why or how they're marketing. So they're not really sure how to evaluate their marketing. It just seems like something that they do, and it's very connected to sales, but they're not sure how it's building brand equity. So we'll often come in and say, okay, great. Like, let's define the brand first so that you can then direct your resources. Because guess what? You save a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of market confusion when you take a step back and just figure out, here's where we're going. Here's my strategy. Here's the conversations I have to have. And here's the channels I need to be on. And suddenly I'm super clear on who I need to work with.
Yeah. So good. Give me an example. Somebody you've worked with and really taken through this process.
Totally. So
what was their situation? Give me their conflict first. Let's start there.
Okay. So a good example is we worked with a law firm here in San Diego. They do business law, and they're struggling, right? Because what do you talk about in business law that every other business lawyer isn't already talking about and isn't already written about on Google 7,000 times, right? Yeah. So they were just kind of struggling to figure out who they were in the space and how to actually gain recognition. So when we jump in with a client like that, okay, great. So we see the market challenge.
So wait. Before we get into how you do this, because I know you are exquisitely prepared to be able to knock those obstacles down and help them get so clear. But I just want to really do some active listening here. Yeah. So for your client, maybe a typical client who comes with you, and this client in particular at the law firm, they didn't feel special.
Yeah.
Right? This is something I think that we find again and again. They wanted to stand out. Their social media wasn't converting. They didn't know what to say. They felt stuck, right? They wanted to build their brand. They have all these big goals, but everything was kind of falling flat because they felt like everybody else, right? So then you step in there. How do you make it easy for them? Like, what is the 1, 2, 3 of what you do to really get them to grow their business?
So the 1, 2, 3 is figuring out who they really are. So in this particular client, it was really cool because as we dug into the brand, we discovered that they really understood these emerging markets like craft beer, which if you're from San Diego, you know craft beer is huge here. Yeah. So, and they were into the craft beer and a lot of this maker economy, which is a very specialized need for law, right? So it's figuring out how soon to file a trademark, what type of business formation serves the brand. Yeah. So the fact that they were already kind of in and understood this industry made them really primed and ready to be having conversations there. So they could really show that, like, hey, we're not just the business lawyer guy. Like, we actually understand your needs and we understand your struggles being in this space. So suddenly the conversation is easier, right? So they know what clients they're going after, and they're able to have these really meaningful conversations with them and really get known in this space for being the lawyer to go to if you need these things.
This is so good here. So the easy step 1 of what you do is figure out what it is that makes you unique. And this is where I've really struggled with working with other marketers who just want to get on your channels and start posting, but you're not going to get the results you're looking for if you're trying to be everything to everyone. The number one thing you can do on social media is pick your niche. And in order to pick your niche, you need to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, then you need Miss Leah here because she's going to walk you through how to set your strategy, identify your ideal client. And this is the Captain Obvious, okay? Reporting to duty. This is the so what. Why does anybody care about your messaging? You have to know what resonates with your ideal client before you can start that messaging if you're looking to create content that converts. So step one is you help them set their strategy and identify their ideal client. What's step two when you work with the client?
Step two is defining the conversations. So it's really defining, again, figuring out what people are already talking about in there and figuring out how to enter into that conversation and define the right level of conversation. So in our work, we work a lot with signature and branded language, right? So we believe that most brands have an opportunity to create their own lexicon, right? So they can start coining phrases in the market that they then own. And so in this particular client, we actually gave him a whole new product set, which is strategic legal counsel that was specifically designed for this space he was in, because really what these people didn't want was a transactional layer. They just wanted someone to talk to. So we gave him that offering to say like, no, you can just call me. You can call me. I will answer my phone and we can have this conversation. And so that really helped him define through messaging, which I think is so important, that, hey, I'm here for you. I understand what you're going through. I understand your needs and I'm listening. And here's my solutions for you.
Now, everybody who knows me knows I am a huge Donald Miller fan. Building a Story Brand is like my favorite book. So he talks a lot about positioning yourself as a guide. And in order to do that, you have to show empathy, that you know what they're struggling with. And you also have to say that you know what they need, their end goal, and you've helped clients like them. And so step two of what you're doing is you're really defining the messaging that they're the go-to guide. They're the guide for their niche. So like we said, the number one thing you could do to get seen on social is you need to pick your niche. But once you pick your niche, now Captain Obvious is like, okay, but what do I do next? How do I move this into implementation? You need to make a list of how you are the guide. And that's exactly what Leah's doing here. So, okay, tip three, what's the third, kind of make it easy for them when you work with a client? What do you do?
The big thing is then we look at what channels do you need to be on, right? Where are these clients and where are they going for information like yours? And so it's really interesting because we have a lot of clients that will come to us, and this client included, where, you know, they went out to like RFP or they went out to different agencies and said, okay, I'd like to do some marketing. And they end up with 5 proposals, 5 different strategies, 5 different tactical plans. All of them will lead them to some version of success, but they have no idea how to kind of evaluate it because they haven't actually evaluated their brand first.
So they're comparing dollar to dollar and trying to make an investment decision, but it's not even apples and oranges. It's watermelons and lemons half the time, you know, on what's going to move you forward. So tell me how you help them get apples to compare.
So it's all tied to your business objectives, right? Okay. So we look at, we draw a picture of a mountain, right? So first we get the flag, we put it at the top of the peak, and that's really your business objectives. So we figure out what peak you want to climb. The climbing is the conversations, and the channels and tactics is the rope, right? So how are we going to get you from point A to point B in the least amount of time with the least amount of money? So it's really an efficiency play. So it's looking at where can we reach the most clients most effectively with the right messaging. And so what happens is when we're done with our work, we now have a client who says, I understand what makes me special. I understand what makes me unique in the market and why I'm perfectly primed to do the work that I'm doing. They know exactly the conversations they need to be having with their ideal markets. And it's done in a way with signature and branded language where it's really theirs and they get known for it and it's natural to them. And then third, they now have these channels and tactics where they know where they need to be. So suddenly I can go out to 3 different agencies, 5 maybe 10 different agencies and say, hey, I need these 5 things. I need you to help me climb the mountain this way. So suddenly they're getting agency proposals or even freelancer proposals, depending on how you work, or even sometimes who you're going to hire next. And they suddenly know exactly what they need and they can make better business decisions in their marketing. So really, brand is, it's the core is at the brand.
Make better decisions about your marketing. Now, I love this because you're really taking them through a process that's going to save them thousands of dollars. Not only are they going to save the headache of not knowing how to compare lemons to watermelon proposals, but the next layer of it is you actually can save people thousands and tens of thousands of dollars because they're able to skip over the full agency where they would be paying top dollar and go for individual freelancers that they can trust because because they already have a roadmap. And if the yellow brick road is laid out, then you just need to follow the yellow brick road and then, evaluate analytics and repeat and fine tune. But you're really giving them the yellow brick road. You're helping them be able to make sound decisions, compare apples to apples, and make better marketing decisions. This is so good.
And the big secret is agencies love us too, because they want brands to come with an idea of who they are. And I'm sure you experience this,
I was going to say, I can relate 100%.
When a brand can walk in and say, here's who we are. We know who we want to be in the market. We know who we want to reach. Now use your expertise in your field and help me get there. Like that's a dream client. So actually what we're doing is just really helping clients be better clients for agencies.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of that. So, and it's
help clients be better clients for agencies. Yeah. So if you're an agency out there and you're tired of getting clients that don't know who they are, they don't know their brand voice, I can speak this to the mountaintops because I'm so tired of it. They come in and they say, well, look, get me some leads. And you say, okay, great. What strategic initiatives do you have in place? And they look at you blankly. And then they say, okay, well, who's your ideal client? And then they're all over the map trying to be everything to everyone. And then we try to nail it down, but what do they actually care about? And they have no clue.
Exactly.
And they're like, well, this client I'd like 10 more dislike, but I started working with them 15 years ago. So I don't actually know what they cared about 15 years ago. And it's all a hypothesis. And then you give all your money to Facebook or whomever you're marketing with, split testing, trying again and again, when really the problem is the messaging.
And you can't do that anymore. It's expensive. It used to be that Facebook was cheap and free and everything was free and easy, and the pendulum has swung. The algorithms have changed. It's no longer cheap and easy and free to just test stuff in the market. And in fact, the market doesn't like it anymore. They don't want to be your guinea pig. They want to hear who you are, and they want to understand quickly who you are and what you can do for them.
This is so good. This is so good. So now with this client, with this law firm in particular, you were able to teach them where they could identify their ideal client. And they were able to do that because they started with figuring out what makes them real, recognizable, and relevant. They figured that out. They drilled down to their ideal client. You captured what they cared about, and then you created their strategy based on that. Then you went ahead and got them in the right conversations by defining their messaging. And then from there, you got them where they can compare apples to apples and make better marketing decisions. By going through the process. So now, how is this client's life better? Once you're able to do all of this, what happened for this client?
Well, a couple of things. So this was one of the analysis paralysis clients. So the minute we were done, they were suddenly out. They started a podcast. They knew exactly what they wanted to be saying. They were consistently writing for their content marketing, consistently advertising via Google and doing some pay-per-click. And they knew exactly what they needed to do for growth. And not only did they get out there and do what they needed to do to get their brand out there, they grew so much that we had a second engagement with them, which was great. Now we've got all this great brand equity. Now let's talk about some new and fun campaigns for this coming year. And so really everything builds on the brand, and they know exactly who they are. They can show up at any conference and say, here's who we are, here's what we do, here's who we work with, and here's our offerings, and let's have a conversation. And there's none of that kind of awkward, like we're kind of this, we're kind of that. So they have come out really strong in the market.
Yeah, so they came out strong in the market. Let me ask you this. Did they get more clients, better clients, or more profitable clients?
All three.
Right?
All three. All three. Yeah. I mean, really, when you know exactly who you want to work with, when they need to call you, and you're super clear, like clarity in this marketplace is what people are looking for. I just want to know, you interest me. Tell me how I can work with you. Tell me how to reach out to you. Tell me what we can talk about. Like, be really clear.
Yeah. And if you demonstrated, you know what I care about.
Yeah.
You've demonstrated, you know what I'm struggling with, and that you've helped people like me. What's the best way to get in contact with you?
Totally. Yeah. So 100%. I love it. I love working with brands where once they we call it finding their voice, right? So once they find their voice because they have the confidence in who they are as a brand, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Oh, this is so beautiful. So they found their voice. That must have given them some confidence.
Yeah, a ton. I mean, it's amazing to watch brands go from silent to absolutely consistently speaking their language and speaking their brand. It's the most fun for us to watch. And honestly, their audiences build faster. Their profitability rises because they're not wasting time. I'm not wasting time writing content or hiring someone to produce content that doesn't really do anything for my brand.
And what happens when you don't waste time?
When you don't waste time, you have more time to work with clients and invest in your business and do the fun stuff.
Yeah, it's the difference of waking up and having a bad day and dragging yourself through it, and waking up on fire with the same agenda and running through it with ease, right? And so that's what you're doing for businesses. You're setting them up to have the best day of their life and the best marketing campaign of their career, because they now know who they are and what conversations they need to be in order to be able to move forward. And then you help them save them thousands because they can work with freelancers because you built the yellow brick road.
Exactly. And they don't waste time and energy on doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been such an insightful interview. I am so grateful. You've given us some really great tips here in terms of how people can really get clear and have the best marketing day of their life, day after day, grow their business, build brand equity, get seen, and stop getting the clients that drive you crazy and start getting those ideal clients who are the most profitable. That is exactly the sweet spot of where you want to be. So if you're in a situation out there where you're just struggling, you feel stuck, you're in a place where you want to feel special, you want to break out and get seen, you know video is important, you know you want to get out there, but what are you supposed to say? This is what I hear almost time and time again. You either don't like how you look on camera, or you don't know what to say. If you're in that place, I want you to reach out to Leah so that she can help you be able to stop being paralyzed and feeling stuck and move into increased confidence in growing your business, because you have the right strategy, you're in the right conversations, and you have the opportunity to evaluate proposals in a way that's going to get you maximum impact for the lowest amount of investment. So in that case, if somebody's out there and they're stuck and they want to move into confidence and make better marketing decisions and grow their business, what's the best way to reach out to you?
The best way, just shoot me an email, info@officeofawesome.com. And I promise it'll be me replying and we'll have a conversation.
Oh, let me go ahead and drop this in. So they will have this on the comments down below. And then anything else, as we're wrapping up here, I really appreciate your time and helping get the good news about what somebody has control over and what they can do and how they don't have to do this in the dark and use video as a marketplace tester. No, get clear and get confident and get seen and get leads. That's what this is about. Anything you want to say as we're wrapping up?
I just want to say that brand is so, so, so important. And I love that you appreciate it. And I just thank you so much for allowing me to be on here today.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you again, Leah. This is, again, Leah Prehn. That is pronounced like rain with a P, but it is spelled Prehn. So Leah, you are an absolute gem. Office of Awesome. If you're awesome and you want to get seen, you need to start with Leah. So every client I talk to, if you don't have a strategy set and you're floundering, I'm going to recommend that they give you a call, because there's nobody. I've talked to marketers up and down California, from San Francisco to San Diego every day, and not one person has had the whole renaissance perspective to marketing, where you get somebody clear and get them able to move forward and save them money. So I'm just so tickled to have you on the call. You're a tremendous resource. I hope that this has inspired you out there watching to be able to take action. So taking action is easy when you know what to do. So get the answers you need to move from paralysis into confidence. I'm Crystal Lindsey, your Go Live marketer, and I'm going to make sure that you get seen on social media. So if you've got questions, comment below. If this was helpful, please share this video and tag people in it who would benefit from hearing this. Stop watching your friends try to learn how to get leads on social and flounder, and give them the gift of confidence, because that's what happens when you know who you are, you know what makes you recognizable, you know what makes you real, and you know what makes you relevant. So work with Leah to figure that out, and then getting seen is a snap. And in the meantime, go live and go live often. I'll see you in the next broadcast. Ciao, ciao.